All right, gamers. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Roll20. Hey gamers, welcome back to Game Master's Dungeon. I am Brian, your Game Master. In today's episode, we are going to take just a brief look at Roll20, just to kind of show you some of the basics of what it can do. It is something that I use currently for my role-playing games that I run with my group, my Vampire the Requiem, and I'm working on putting together my Curse of Strahd game on there, just to kind of have organized maps and things like that. But it's capable of so much more. But this, like I said, this is just going to be like a basics overlook video. Hopefully you guys want to follow along. If you do, go to roll20.net. You can create a free account and follow along. Also, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you get instant notifications when I upload new content. You can follow me over on Twitter at GameMastersDone1. Also, I do have a Discord server. I'll put a link in the description below. Join me over there, and we can all come together. We can talk about whatever topics you want. You know, GM tips. You want to talk about things to help you as a better player. You got content ideas. You've got character questions. Put those over there. Not just me, but the whole community. All of my subscribers can come over, and we can all put our heads together and help each other out. So with that said, let's get into it. Well, all right, gamers. So here we are, looking at roll20.net. So this, when you type in this in the URL up here, right, this is what you're gonna come up to. This is the home page. So let's just kind of quickly take a look at the home page right quick, go over a couple of things. Then I'll sign into my account and we'll create us a game, and I'll show you a few things about this awesome tool. Okay. So obviously, you come in the home page here. So play now. You don't have to run a game with this. You can look for people that are running games and you can join their game. So like right here, click join game. Also has the marketplace. So they have a bunch of fab stuff like Curse of Strahd, a lot of D&D modules like Tomb of Annihilation, things like that. You look here, there's like Tome of Beasts by Kobold Press, Star Trek Adventures, the new dungeon tiles that Wizards of the Coast put out. They have those available as well that you could purchase through their marketplace and use to help create your games. And then there's like the tools. There's the character vault, the compendium. They also have Roll20 for Android and iPad. I know in my group, there's one guy that uses his Android tablet, and other guys are using laptops and other devices. So it's really great. Not everyone has to be sitting at a big computer. You can have your portable devices and still be able to play with this. Then there's like the community section. There is, like whole bunch of things on YouTube about Roll20. This is just going to be a video just to kind of, wet the whistle, just to get you into Roll20. I watched a few videos, but then I just kind of I started a game, and then I just kind of played around with a bunch of the settings and learned a bunch there. And it's actually pretty intuitive. It's pretty easy to pick up. So those of you that might not be computer savvy or whatever, it's really not that complicated, but we're going to get into that here in a minute. So obviously, you can create your free account. It's absolutely free. If you want to just play, free account, that's all you need. You log in, because all my friends that play in my vampire game that I'm running using this all have free accounts. Now I pay for like a premium version, which give me access to some extra tools as a DM, which I think are great for the price, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. It's got a tour section, simply elegant, storytelling enhanced, right? So you got your story, but now you can put it into this. You can have maps, music, all that kind of stuff, all these great tools that you're going to be able to use to just enhance your game. And also it helps keeping your information organized, like your characters, your handouts, GM notes, all that stuff. It's just all in here. You don't have to have thousands of papers and folders and all this other stuff. Love it. It does offer dynamic lighting. So as you can see, like in this picture, right, you can create a map and you can make it all like with the fog of war, make it all black. Then every character can have a certain sight range, and that's all that they will be able to see like on their device. or they can only see what their character can see. It's great. It's got hundreds of character sheets. We'll get into that when we go to make a game. But yeah, almost any game, role-playing that you can think of, even some homebrew stuff, they've got character sheets on here for. You can do video and voice chat. So you'll see here in this picture right here. You can have everyone sitting there with their webcams and their voice. And it shows like these little pictures down there at the bottom of everyone, which is kind of cool. You can also do dice rolls. You can do like the 3D dice like this. Some of my players use it. Some of them just roll the dice and I'll put it in like the chat box, what I'll show you here in a minute. And once again, create your free account. You can sign up for the newsletter, things like that. Okay, so that's the home page. So we're gonna get signed in here, and then we'll be back at the create game page. All right, so here we are. So I've got signed into my account. So I've got a few games in the works. So I got my Vampire the Requiem with GMD, Game Master's Dungeon. I've got my Pokemon Tabletop United game I was working on. Got the Curse of Strahd. Now this is like I'm kind of putting it together myself, session by session. So, but I used that right there. And then I've got like a Castlevania style Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition game that I was working on because I watched that the animated series on Netflix, the Castlevania. I was like, man, this would be kind of a cool setting for D&D game. That I was kind of putting some stuff together. But this is where all the games that you create will be. You can create, as far as I know, as many games as you want. So I've had like 5 or 6 on here just kind of playing around. You scroll down here, you know, it's got more stuff from the marketplace, blog posts from the development team. If you want to follow them, go over to at Roll20 app on Twitter, and you can follow all their updates. And if you've got questions and things like that, you can ask them there, and they're pretty good about responding to you. And then obviously you have all your links and everything up here like we had at the home screen. But what we're going to do, we're just going to create a game right quick. So you're going to go up here and click Create New Game. And then it's going to bring up some stuff. So game name. So we're just going to call this test game. And then so here's where your character sheet. So we're gonna make a Mutants and Masterminds. You can do 2nd edition, do 3rd edition. Obviously, do 3rd edition. And this is going to show you an example of the character sheet you're going to use right here. Looks pretty good. Now, this is all like user community created driven stuff. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. But like I was talking, like so Naruto is actually like it's like a homebrew game that's based on the D20 Modern that I actually played quite a lot of. Some of my players say that some of my best work as a DM was in this game. So I think that's really cool. So they got support for that. They got Starfinder. Yep, they got Starfinder right there. Let's see. Do they have Numenera? I see that's a much better looking character sheet than the one I think that comes in the book. It's not as artful. It's not as, not so much going on. I like it. But yeah, you can just search through, or you can just kind of scroll through. They even have like the Star Wars D6 from West End Games, like old game. I played that when I was in like junior high, when I was like 14. It was like 20 years ago. Love that game. Dragon Quest, Dragon Slayers 4th edition, all your Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition, 2nd edition. They even got Fallout, all kinds of stuff. Dresden Files. But anyway, let's go back to Mutants and Masterminds. So you select your character sheet that you're going to use. And then you could put in tags if you wanted to. So if people wanted to search for your game, if you're looking to just open it up for people to come in. So then you're going to click I'm ready. Create game. And then it kind of brings you to this page right here. So there's the launch game. There's like, you can set like looking for players. You can, You can create a listing so people can find your game if you want to do that. Settings, you can go to the different game settings. Content, you can archive the chat, so it has like a whole chat function inside the game that you and the players can use. Then also playing section here, begin typing to choose games. Then you can click here like the next game will be. So say you're running a game with some friends just online, and you can be like, okay, we played today. Next game will be 2 weeks from now. You know, whatever the date is and time, you can put all that. You can enter a description for the game. So if you open it up for people looking to join your game, you can put in a description of the kind of game you're playing, the mood, the setting, the theme, all that stuff we've talked about in our GM study hall videos, which is very important because, you know, some people may be looking for a certain type of game. Some people are looking for, you know, dark. Maybe the people are looking for a little more light and comedic. You know, so be really descriptive with, you know, about your game if you're going to use this to try to find players. I'm not really ready to open up to just random players. I like to select my players. I know that I do want to run a Mutants and Masterminds game for you, my subscribers, for a group that would be interested, and we will be using this Roll20. So hopefully you guys watch this and you get excited, you get on, you play, kind of learn about the system and learn how it works. And then we can get that set up as soon as we can. But that'll be a topic for a different day. You have an option for inviting players, so if you know everyone's email address or whatever, you can email them that way. But I'll show you another way that you can get people in here as well. But we're just going to go ahead and launch game. Oh yeah, also, so right here you can create like a banner, like a picture and your game's name and fonts and whatever. You can come up with a really cool picture. You can put right there so you can see it. That's what I've done with my Vampire the Masquerade Chicago game. So we're going to go ahead and launch game here. So it'll take a second to load, and what you come up to, so you come up with a grid, looks like a battle map. Now you see like right here, these are where all your players that join your game, they're going to be down here in this row. So you'll be able to see, like if you're using video and chat, like audio, you'll see them there as well. This is like your little toolbar here. It's going to have all the things we're going to go over here in a minute. This is going to be really quick. Not a whole lot of in-depth. This is just to kind of get you guys into Roll20, see if you're going to like it. If you're watching this video, go to the website, get your account set up, pause the video, come back, and then kind of play along as well. Just you can kind of see some of the options I'm working with here. So you can see, like, you got a pretty good sized map. First, we'll start up here. So click this little button right here. This is your page toolbar. So it comes with one standard page, but you can create additional pages. So right here, we're gonna title this. We're gonna get ready here. We're gonna go little street map. Okay, and we'll go back to that later. Now, what I like to do, I like to use like one page for tokens and stuff, which I'll get to here in a minute. So basically what I'll do, I have one page. It doesn't have any maps or anything on it that the players will ever see. It's just a lot of the game assets that I'm going to have prepared. I'm going to just have organized on this page. And also where I'll be able to like grab these icons and tokens and stuff and move them to other maps that I need to get set up, so I don't constantly have to be recreating the same tokens, and saves me a lot of work that way. So, and then like over here, these are like all of your functions. So this is like your chat right here. Okay, it's even got some basics like how to use it. Right, just start typing any message and press enter. So we just type down here, hello. So this will be from whoever it is. So my name is Brian. Last name starts with an M. And I'm the GM because I'm the one that created the game. And hello. So, but then say I wanted to whisper somebody, private message. So /W. So Brian. Hello. So then it would whisper. Now we use this a little bit in my games. So like we're playing like a modern game of Vampire. Everybody's got cell phones, and so when some player receives like a text message or something, I can whisper to that particular player and like, oh hey, so you get a text from so and so. This is what it says. I type it up. Boop. It shows up on their screen, and then they can respond back. Especially if it's something that not the whole party needs to know about, which is pretty cool. You can also it's also got a dice rolling system. You can do it several ways. You can type it in here like how it says right here. So /roll. So what is it? So we'll say 1d20. Boom. This is a great day. I rolled a 20. All right, this isn't scripted. I didn't try this 100 times. This is just raw dog. So, but then you can do it like, so say I make an attack roll. So I roll my d20, and then we're gonna plus, say 5. All right, so I'm gonna roll a 15 plus 5, 20. See, pretty cool. When you roll it, it'll all roll them in the chat section as well here. There's also a way you can. So let me see if I can get it right. So /whisper Ryan. Let's see. Whoop. See if this is right. Whoop. Nope, I didn't do that right. Oh, there it is. That's it. Sorry. /GM roll. So 1d20 plus 5. See, and then it rolls directly to the GM or whoever that is. So the /whisper stuff is for other stuff, and I have some macros that I've made in one of my games. We're not going to go into that much detail. I'm just going to show you the basics. Right? And then also you can go over here, too. Right here. You want to roll dice? You can click this little dice box. Little dice icon. And it brings up this, what do you want to roll? I want to roll a d6. Boop. It just rolls it right there. Or you can set it, I want to roll 3d8 plus 5. Roll, and it shows you each individual dice. Also, there's options where you can set for like 3D dice, so it would like roll dice on the table. Let me see. I think it's in the enable 3D dice, and automatically roll 3D dice. So right up here is your little settings page. So this is where a lot of your music, also your token controls, avatars. You can also create decks of cards as well. In this, there's so much you can do. So, but now let's try this again. So we're gonna roll that. You see, it rolls the 3D dice. I go back to my chat. It rolls it, but then it also rolls it on the screen as well, which is kind of cool. Then you click the screen and they go away. But say I just want to roll my d20 plus 5. Whoop. What do I get? Oh, 5. Come on. Which is kind of cool. And I think you can change the colors and all that other stuff. But so now we're going to be like, okay, cool. So we know how to roll dice. We're talking about the chat system. What else have we got? So next is your art library. So this is where, because you can upload any kind of pictures and all that kind of stuff you want to this to be able to use in your game. But also they do offer you a bunch of free assets. So like tokens. Maybe like a Winter Orc fighter. He's only got a single arm. Winter Orc spearman. Oh wow, all kinds of stuff. Let's see. There's even dungeon tiles. It's like stained drains, altar of sacrifice, and how it works, you just click, hold, grab, pull over here, and then it just takes up one space. Then what you do, so you go layer, and you right click it, move it to the map layer, and you come over here, and these are your different layers. So you've got a map and background layer, you've got objects and tokens, then you've got the GM layer and the dynamic lighting. All right, so where were we? Oh yeah, so right here. So we got your different layers. So you got your map and background layer. So when you move something to the map and background layer, You can edit it, move it around there. And then, because that's like this. So let's go to the map and background layer, okay? Because I moved this to the map and background layer. So now I want to say I want to make this bigger. Once you click it, and it's got the little boxes, and you can just make it bigger, you know, like so. And then you can go to the object layer, okay? And now I can't interact with this anymore. So this is where you would you get your little winter goblin. Here he is, winter goblin. And you can make him bigger. He's a gigantic goblin. He's a big giant creature running around. Then if you want to get rid of something, you just click it. You can delete it, however you want to do it. You know, then you can go back. Say you don't need you want a smaller map. You can adjust the size of this grid here. You can make this smaller. You can make it bigger to support larger maps if you need to, like a world map or something like that. Just be careful. Say you go get an image off the internet or whatever, and then as you're adjusting it, you might lose some resolution. So you're just gonna have to kind of play around. Then also then you can stretch like this, because you see how like the board itself has like a grid on there, and obviously then you look. So I bring this guy over here. He doesn't really fit. I'm going to get him adjusted here. There we go. Yeah, see, that doesn't fit super well in there, so you can just kind of like adjust the size of the map here to kind of fit. You know, if you wanted to make each one of those squares like one tile size, you would have to like squish the map and make a bunch of adjustments. You know, kind of like that. So it's getting pretty close now. You know, we gotta keep. We go down like this. Nope, not quite. Also, what's kind of cool, so you can see how it like kind of snaps to the grid below. But say you just can't get it, you know, where one of these it doesn't work right. So you click and hold it as you're adjusting, right? You can kind of hold the Alt key, and then you let go, and then it'll just it'll lock where you leave it. So like right here, let's see, maybe in the middle. That's pretty decent. You know, then we're just gonna a little bit. There we go. You know, then our little token guy. I mean, it's still not perfect, but obviously you would take more time to kind of put this together. But let's get rid of that. Okay. All right, so that's your art assets, and then also when you upload something, which I'm going to do here in a few to kind of show you how it works. It's going to be in here as well. You can kind of organize. You can go to my library. See, this is a bunch of the stuff that I've got that I've already uploaded. Okay, so hopefully, I mean, I'm showing you some of the stuff I'm using in my vampire game here. Hopefully none of my players are watching this, something they shouldn't see. So I'm using like some actors that I like for some of the characters. Hopefully I'm not gonna get like a copyright strike or whatever. But this is like a token for one of the characters, the NPCs, you know, that I can just drag him over here. There he is. Hugh Jackman is a character in my game. And that's like, I like to use just a round token. So I let my character or my players find a picture online of somebody that looks like their character, and I made little tokens out of them. There's a little program that I use called Token Tool, I think it is. I won't really talk much about that in this video. If you want to know more about that, leave a comment below, and I can do a video on how I make my tokens for this. Okay, so if Vuber, so it's funny. So obviously Uber's a thing, right? Well, in my vampire game, one of my players made the joke about, well, I'm going to use the Uber for vampires. You mean the Vuber? I was like, all right, Vuber it is. It's now a word it's canon in my game. So this is like one of the Vuber drivers. I picked up one of my characters. Then I've got other characters here. I've got so I use the whole picture. Hopefully whoever, nobody knows that person. I just I use the Google. I Google images of, people. I'm like, okay, this looks like this. And I type in a description and I just Google it. Then I'm like, this person looks great. Let's see. I got a bunch of other stuff in here, So all my art assets are right in here. Okay. And then I've got, then you can make folders. You can add a new folder. So here I've got people. This was for my Pokemon game I was working on. Town assets, buildings and stuff like that. See, cathedral, city street tiles, all that kind of stuff. So you can, as you're uploading your assets, you can organize them. Next is going to be I think honestly is one of the best things that Roll20 offers is your journal. Okay, so your journal is fantastic. So basically you start with nothing in your journal. But now, okay, say I want to add, obviously we need to add characters. But first I'm going to add a folder. And I'm going to call this one the player characters. Okay, so plus minus got nothing in there. So we're going to add... Nope, sorry. We're going to click here. We're going to right-click this folder. You can make subfolders, but now we're going to add a character. So it's going to add a character. It's going to go then to the character sheet. Okay, so let's do that again. So you got your character here. So you can right-click on it. You can archive it, delete it, or you can show it to players. But if you want to make edits to it, so you just click. So you left-click on it, and you've got your section for your biography. So you can click the edit button. Okay. So now this is great. So this is where your drop a file. So say this is where you what your avatar looks like. If you want to find a picture of your character. So we're going to choose a file. Let's see. Then you would go wherever you store that stuff. But also what you can do, you can go back over here and you can drag this stuff. Boom. You click save. So now you go back, see here, now it's got the little picture next to this character. So when I click on it, boom, this is Equi. It gives you random names. Obviously you go in and change it. And then it's got a default token. So my token tool, I would take this picture and I put it in there, and I get the little rings that I like to use, different colors for different, for enemies, neutral people, player characters. I use whatever color ring is necessary for this, and I just basically center the face and I cut that out. Boom, got my token. Then you can just remove it here if you need to. Once you have your default token right here, you'd put it right here. So then when you add this character to the board, so if I hit cancel, actually, hold on. Let's go to edit. Let's go back to our art assets. So we're going to take this guy's token. Oh, yeah. So what you do is, so you put your token on the board, you click it, use selected token. Okay? We'll save changes. And now we're going to delete that. Now we're going to go back to this. So say I want to put this character on the board. I just drag, puts this token right there. We're going to move him to the token layer. Okay. I'll go back to the token layer. So then you click, and then you've got these three little boxes or little bubbles up here that you can store stats like armor class, health, hit points, willpower points. If you're playing vampire, you can track your vitae, you can track your armor, you can track whatever stat. You only get the 3 trackable stats. You can't have 50 bubbles on there. It would just be so convoluted. But, your important stuff that you need to quickly access, you can just be bam, what do I got? You can go into your settings. You have advanced settings. So if you say you put a name, you can have the name show up under the token. You can have the players see the bars. if it's like their character's token. But say it's like a monster or an NPC where you want to see those numbers, but they don't. You just leave them as only you can see and edit it, and then all they would see was the token. They can't interact with the token, but you were able to see all that information. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of that. And then, but then now, say I want to make like a handout. Okay. So we're going to make a handout. So we'll leave this as, say game notes. Game notes. Okay. You could drop a file in here. So say you've got a picture of something. Say you're making a handout for a building. A good example in my vampire game, I have like the Palmer Hotel. They're in Chicago, which is where the players spend a lot of their time. It's run by vampires in my game. I have a handout that's called the Palmer Hotel with a picture of the exterior of the Palmer Hotel, and I put some information about it. And then as the game progresses and things change or something happens at the hotel or whatever, I can put them in the notes down here. So then I can give this handout to my players so they can have it in their journals, because every player is going to have their own journal where their character and handouts and everything that you give them are going to go. So instead of them having to have pen and paper and writing all these notes, they can have handouts and everything's all organized for them, which is super awesome. And then there's a section for GM notes. So even though I give this to the players, there's a section in there for GM notes that only I can see and I can edit. So I'll put stuff in there for, say, like an NPC, and his like description and notes. I can be like, oh, he's kind of friendly, da 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 da. In the GM notes, I can be like, well, if you succeed these kind of rolls against him, like some kind of a social roll, persuasion or whatever, he gives you this information. I can have all these notes already prepared on this handout for this guy, and the players can't see it, but as they discover it, I can just copy paste from the GM section to the section that they can see, which is awesome, I think. That's handouts, and you can make as many handouts as you want. Characters, folders, and handouts. So I take good amount of time setting all this up. Even if it's just like a couple of lines of a note, make a handout, call it what it's needed, and then put your notes in there. So then everything, when you log in, everything's right there. So even if you go somewhere else, use a different computer, say at a friend's house, maybe they've got a station set up that you can use to run the game. You log in, everything's there. It's not saved directly to your computer. It's saved on their system, so you always have access to it. And then you have all of your notes, so if you forget your binder or your bag or something, you already have everything you need right there. And then let's go back to the players right quick. Right, so then you've got the character sheet. So you can go in here and change the name. This will be Bob, whatever. The identity, basically everything that's on the character sheet is here. And then you see how these are like little buttons here and little buttons here. So say as an example, acrobatics. So let's see. Say, okay, agility. Okay, I say I have agility 2. See, it adds right there. And then I'm going to put like 4 ranks in it. Okay. And then I got, say, I have 2 bonus from somewhere else. It's going to give me an 8 bonus total. I go to the chat and say the GM calls for an acrobatics roll. I'm like, okay, I just click this button. And it rolls my 15 plus my 8, 23. It says right there. And it goes directly to the GM as well. Now, each one of these character sheets, like I said, is created by some kind of other content creator for Roll20. So not all sheets will be like this. Some will just be you have to hand fill all the stats, and then you've got to do all the math and do all the rolling. But really popular games like this, people have made sheets like this that have all this stuff already done. I call for initiative. Bam. So Bob rolls for initiative. Bob result 22. He's got dodge 2, his agility is 2, awareness is 0, right? And then also you've got the turn order over here. There currently aren't any tokens on this page, but say all the players have their characters, and you're like, okay, we're going to roll for initiative. You can use the turn order thing function here to track everyone's rolls, because they'll roll for initiative, and it'll automatically populate into this thing. So then you can just click like the next button, and you're like, okay, Bob, you're up. Okay, Sally, you're up. Okay, Tim, you're up. You know, and automatically, and then you just click the next, and it just cycles through. It's really great. We'll close that. Get the dice out of here. So that's the character sheet, right? Then you've got like your abilities and things like that. As you start filling in your sheet, these are going to be abilities and stats off of your character sheet that you would go onto your token that you can track. Because like here, you know, when you make the token, right? Okay, we're going to cancel that. So we've got our token. And then we're going to say character sheet. We're going to go, let's see, where is it? Let's say like dodge. We'll say toughness, right? So toughness, we'll say like 7, okay? So then you go to like abilities, right? So now we've got toughness points of 7. Okay. And also, yeah, so you can like double click here and it makes them like a little movable little tab that, you know, it stays like on the position of the screen, and you can scroll the map around. So you can have, so say you have several NPCs up and running. You're like, okay, you got a Thug 1. You can just open Thug 1, boom, or whatever. Put him back. You know, Thug 2, click on him. You know, track his stats. So Bob, we'll put Bob on the screen here. So now, so we got like these 3 bubbles up here. We'll go to our settings. And then what we're going to do, this is going to represent Bob. Okay. We're going to say his toughness is going to be the red bar. Because see how there's like the red, green, and the blue. And we're going to say this is going to represent, then you can go through here and select what you want it to represent. We're going to go down here to toughness. Toughness points. Right? So now when I click on him, he has a toughness of 7. This would be dodge. This could be parry. You know, whatever. You could track those in there like that. And then, so say then I go back to my character sheet and I adjust my toughness. Say I'm going to increase my stamina by 4. Okay? Which should then, yeah. Should, for some reason, oh yeah, wait, sorry. You have to track it properly. There we go. The entire toughness. Sorry, this is the first time using the Mutants and Masterminds one. I'm more familiar with the Vampire and the D&D character sheets. But yeah, so then as I adjust this, so say this goes down a couple of points, boom, automatically adjust right there. Great, fantastic. Basically helps keep everybody honest, and then also does a lot of the math for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so that's a journal. Now, what else is cool? One of the videos I am going to be doing in the near future in the GM study hall is the use of music. So we're going to touch on it right now. So music always helps set the scene. Think of like your favorite movie. Why is it your favorite movie? I mean, yeah, it's got a great action, but now watch that movie and mute it. You're like, man, this maybe isn't quite as good as what it was. The music is what makes it. It sets the scene and the tension and the mood, and it just helps out quite a lot. So it has its own jukebox that you can use. So you can add a track. So they've got, you know, a bunch of stuff. You can even find like some copyrighted stuff. You go to Fanburst. I use a bunch of that in my vampire game. Like everyone has their own special ringtone on their characters' phones, and everyone has their own special like text message sound. So I can just play their text message sound or their ringtone, and they know, oh, my character's getting a phone call. I answer it, and then I'm okay. Oh, and the other end is, you know, oh, hey, you know, what's going on? Then we have a little role-playing conversation right there. Tabletop audio is, you can find a bunch of different sounds here. like Alien Machine Shop. But I use it a lot for like ambient sound. So go to fan burst, type in a keyword. So one of the good ones I'm using, we're playing in Chicago in the wintertime and it's snowy and it's cold. So we're going to do like, so footsteps in snow. And then you just hit play. You can play it from here, or you can add it over here and close this. So now you've got it in your jukebox, so you just be like, okay, all right, you come out of the building and you walk down the street. And when you play this, it'll play to all players connected to the game through their audio devices, either their headphones. It'll play on their computers, whatever, their speakers. You can set it to loop. So say it's just like a short audio clip, but you needed to play several times instead of having to keep pressing play. You can just set it to loop, and then you can adjust the volume here, how loud or how quiet it is. I'm not going to play any other music because I don't want any copyright strikes, but you can add quite a lot of stuff. Like I've got a character, her name is Jessica, in my vampire game. She's an NPC that I added to the group because they didn't make like any offensive kind of fighters, which is perfectly fine. But obviously, there's going to be times when a fight's going to break out, and I don't want them to get worked by a bunch of thugs with guns because none of them really know how to do that. So I gave them like a bodyguard kind of thing. But she's got she likes to listen to like Journey. You can. Wait, hold on. No, I use like Don't Stop Believin'. Yeah, see, Don't Stop Believin'. You can add that to your jukebox, and you can play that. Maybe she's listening to the iPod or whatever. She's driving in the car. She's listening to that. The characters are in there. You can play that, quietly. So it's on the radio. You're in the car. You're kind of setting the mood, setting the scene. You're in the back seat. She's jamming out to Journey or whatever, and then you can role play after that, which is really cool. So definitely use music as much as you can in your game. Trust me. It's just going to make it a lot better. Here, you have like your collections, so you can create macros. Anyone that's familiar with macros, you can make macros to roll certain dice with certain modifiers. You can make macros to instantly whisper to people. Basically, all kinds of macros to do all kinds of stuff. You can do decks of cards. So you can add a new deck, then you can create. But we got the deck of playing cards, 54 cards. We're going to show the deck. And then here, see, we just shuffle it up, shuffle the deck, and we're going to deal. We're going to deal 2 cards. To all players, sure. Oh, need at least 1 player. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, technically you would need somebody in here to... But yeah, you can deal everybody cards. So say you're in a scenario where you guys have to play cards. You're like a poker game or whatever in the game, or whatever other kind of card game. So you can actually build a deck and play those games out. And, then you can determine, okay, I win this hand. Whatever player wins the hand, okay, you get some money, or... the NPC is willing to tell you some information or whatever, which is kind of cool. And then you can hide the deck, when you're done. Okay. And then settings. So you're looking say you're looking to chat and it's getting kind of full. You don't need all that. You can go to settings. You can clear current chat log. There's nothing here now. Let's see, master music level. The 3D dice, chat timestamps. You can talk, like your token colors. So say this red one, I don't want it red. I want it purple. So now it's purple. You can change the color here. So you can even adjust marker position. However, I normally just leave it to the top as default. Your chat avatars. So that these things down here. Audio. Obviously, I think right now Let's see. I don't know how. I haven't used the audio on this because I've just been doing it local. We're all sitting in the same room using our devices. But this is something that you would want to play with if you've got friends that are say on their end. Especially if you plan on running a game, have somebody else log in and just do a lot of testing. So when you're getting ready to start your game for your players, you've got everything tested, ready, and all set up. There's also an option up here so to rejoin as a player. So say you're creating some stuff, you're working with dynamic lighting, which we're really not going to go over. That would be like a premium asset. If you guys want a video on dynamic lighting, let me know, and I can do a quick little tutorial of what that looks like. Basically what it is, like I take the map and you can outline certain areas to where you can't see through and past, and so like when you have like the whole map, well, you're like, well, I don't want my players to see the entire map. Maybe I've got stuff hidden or whatever. You can use the dynamic lighting to hide all that stuff, and then only once they open the door or the window, or if they have an ability to see through the wall, then you can reveal those areas, which makes it really cool. So all they were going to see is just what their characters can see in the immediate room. So let's make a new map. So we're going to go to the street map. Okay, so it's going to open a new sheet like this. Okay, and now what I want to do, so you'd go like your premium assets, but what I want to do, I downloaded a map earlier. Let me open it up here. So we're just going to drag it over here. So I just Googled a street battle map, for like D&D Modern or whatever. Okay. So I want to make it because it already has its own like grid on there, and obviously I want my map or my grid here to match up. Obviously it doesn't right now. Oh yeah. You always want to make sure you put it on the right layer. There we go. So now we can move it around. And then, so if we go up here to settings, right, your page settings, okay, you can change the opacity of your grid. I make it really dark initially, blam, so then it's easy to see, because you see how this map is already marked out with yellow. I want to get my black lines to match those yellow lines. Let's see, so basically we gotta shrink it in a little bit. Kind of like so. Nope, not quite. Got a little bit more. So this is where it takes the most patience here, because sometimes you got to fiddle with the map to get it to line up. That's if you want it to snap into position. Remember, you can. Oh, you're like, what is that? What is that pinging, Brian? Which is kind of actually it's a cool feature. So say like you're like, oh, if you look over here, by this blue car, click and hold, wing, makes a little ping symbol to get, so when everybody's looking at the map, you're like, oh, over here there's something, and players can be like, oh, I'm gonna go search over here this garbage can, and everyone's color is different. So right now my color is green, but I can change myself like to blue, which blue is my favorite color. I ping here, boing. Another player could be red, and when he pings, it'll be red. So everybody's differentiated. Let's see. See how like the top of this map doesn't really line up that well? This is where you've got to work that mojo. Scrunch it down. Sometimes you might just, not be able to get it exactly perfect. It's just one of those things you'll be like, to the level of, perfection you need. So, I mean, that right there looks pretty good, right? So now, let's get, then you go to your players, and you can just drag Bob over here. And then you shrink him down, put him on the token layer. You go to the token layer, and now you're like, okay, this looks bad with this grid on here. You go to settings. Now you can just turn the opacency all the way off. So now all you have is just this. So now we can just move Bob over here. So I mean, see, it's pretty close. You know, he's gonna run over here. You know. Also, what's kind of cool too, you've got this measuring stick. Your measuring stick. So you click here, he can move 30 feet. He's going to move over here, right there. Also, I think if you hold, no, is it, oh, what is it? Oh yeah, I got to go, objects and tokens. Yeah, so you can measure, and then you go back to your pointer. And then you can just move like that. I think there was a way. Like I said, I'm not like super pro with this. I've done enough to get me by, but obviously there's a lot of stuff that I'm still learning, which is great, I think. Oh yeah, that's it. So say I click and hold, and I hold the space bar, and then I move. I'm going to move over here. It'll draw the line. So move 35 feet. You know. Move 30 feet. So it'll measure the distance between the two. It'll drop you here. Then you can just click and get rid of the previous marker and get rid of your line. And then you're ready to go. All right, gamers. That was just a quick look at Roll20. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I stumbled on to Roll20, just kind of browsing around for, programs like that, and I instantly fell in love with it. It's a great tool, a lot of great options for GMs and players alike. The jukebox, the journal, uploading your own assets, tokens, maps, all other kinds of stuff. It just allows you to really organize your notes and your gameplay to make your game run smooth. You can create your maps. You can have stuff set up. You can have multiple maps set up there at the top. And you can switch between them and move the players over. So say you need to switch to a map and you don't want the players there, that little red ribbon that was on the maps, wherever that's at, that's what the players will see. So you can switch to a map while they're still looking at the original map, get things set up while you're kind of describing the scene or whatever, and then move everybody over and you're ready to go. So if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you get instant notifications when I upload new content. Also, if you want to come hang out over on Discord, check the link below to my Discord server. Come on over. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about games, character ideas. If you got questions on GMing or as a player, throw those over there. Also, you can follow me over on Twitter at GameMastersDone1. If you got questions there, you want to talk to me, directly to me, throw them over there. If you've got content ideas you would like to see, put those over there or in the comment section below. So until I see you again in the dungeon, I'm Brian, your Game Master, and happy gaming.